What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? We are back. We are back. We are back in his house. How we doing? How we doing?
Doing good. Episode 7.
Episode 7. I'm happy to be back, and we're in the new studio, and we're still called Flagler Weekly.
We are called Flagler Weekly. So, hold on. What's this message you're sending me? Oh, yeah. Well,
Hmm.
yeah. So, anyway, we're over here in Flagler Beach, which is really nice. I mean, we've all been going to Flagler Beach, but I feel like once you come out here and you get submersed in the whole vibe, it's different than just going from Palm Coast over for the day.
Yeah, let's talk about your new Flagler Beach living. How do you feel about it?
I feel good about it.
You do? You like it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the property is real sweet. It's like wooded around here. It feels very naturey.
Hmm.
At night, I can hear the ocean, which is sweet. The air's different. Now, I was thinking about it too. Like, the ocean produces more air, more oxygen than trees does.
Does it?
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a fact. But I was thinking, we're right on the coast. Like, we're like a quarter mile away from the source. So we're getting all that fresh.
Yeah, you are getting that first oxygen.
And like, we already know the next door neighbor and the next door neighbor across the street, and it's only been a few days. It's just a little friendlier of a vibe over here. So I'm digging it. And really, like, it's kind of like more being in the town than the Palm Coast, because really I could walk right uptown in just a few minutes.
More of a town.
Yeah.
Share this onto your Facebook page
All right.
and onto those groups. While Dave's doing that, I would like to drum roll, please. I would like to give a shout out to our first sponsors,
Whoop, whoop.
and we are going to actually hold on one second. We're oh, my bad. So I want to talk about these sponsors a little bit. These guys, they really believed in us. I'm about to read the advertisement, but I just really appreciate it. It's from the beginning, and we're just learning to grow as we go, man. And it's just I'm glad to have people behind us. So I would appreciate it if you guys could support these people for us as well. So this podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Sunshine State Heating and Air Conditioning. When your system is on the fritz and you need AC serviced or replaced, let Sunshine State Heating and Air Conditioning provide you with a free in-home consultation. They're a 5-star rated business and have been servicing Palm Coast for close to a decade. The best part about choosing Sunshine State and Heating Air Conditioning, Dave, is that they guarantee their work. Whether you get a new system or join the annual Performance Maintenance Club, you get a peace of mind with your investment. Their guarantee range from a full 100% satisfaction guarantee to a lifetime warranty on parts and repairs. That's crazy. But you guys can give them a call today to schedule your free in-home consultation, request service, or to speak directly with their amazing customer success team. The number is 386-627-5500. And remember, support Sunshine State Heating and Air Conditioning. We're going to put all their information in the description. You guys don't worry about it. But I will say from personal experience, they're a great company. They helped us out and helped keep my mom's house cold and hot through the summer and the winter time when they came. So really appreciate you guys, especially with Florida. It's been like up and down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't have no air.
So you're loving the oxygen in Flagler Beach
Yeah, and the vibe.
and the vibe.
Yeah, it's more friendly.
Okay. Lil Dave, how you liking Flagler Beach so far?
Pretty sweet. It's really quiet. What's crazy is that like one of the first nights we stayed here, like I was like, it's so quiet. We used to live like off like Pine Lakes, bro. We hear everyone, all the cars and whatnot. We come over here, bro. We can hear the ocean. That's crazy.
That's dope.
And bro, when I'm sleeping, you know that sound that you hear when you hear nothing? I can hear that, which is crazy. And I don't think I ever heard that at the house by Pine Lakes.
That's what's up.
That
That's
high
up.
and not low.
So a major upgrade, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah, we like it.
So let's just start off. This is our Martin Luther King episode, and it's funny because we said that MLK, he had a dream, and his dream was actually I wanted to pull it up. I'm gonna pull up the MLK speech real quick. Just give a couple little highlights from it.
Well, the part that we know is that people will be judged on the content of their character and not on the color of their skin. Is pretty much the
Spoiler.
that's like the summary, yeah.
Yeah.
The boiled down, concentrated summary. Which yeah, I agree with.
Yeah. This is, like you said, a pretty long speech. I'm looking for that part that you were just talking about.
You know the thing. I have a dream. Who am I right now? We all should corn pop. You know the part. Well, I say that because it's interesting because I know another one of your topics is the white supremacy bill, which kind of I don't want to talk about it too much, but it has to do with grouping people, which is kind of the opposite of
I found
his premise.
So he says, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, so he's like, it's not just today, it's going to be tomorrow too. But so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. I have a dream one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. Huh. Well, look at this here, a table of brotherhood. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, when its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. Deep. That's what's up. So here we are today.
Yeah.
And we wanted to go over a couple things about Martin Luther King.
Well, yeah, we did a little research.
Yeah, and
And preparation.
something that I think a good way to go in this topic is just that now a majority of black people are Democrats.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what you were saying is that Martin Luther King was, though, in fact, a Republican.
Well, I've heard that, and in my reading, some people say yeah, some people say no, but it's rumored that he was Republican. But
Well, Cameron, look it up. Look it up. But keep talking.
but I will say though is that the Democrat of then and the Democrat of now is not the same thing. I don't think that he would really be on board with the democratic principles of today, especially identity politics, which is pretty much the direct opposite of what he just said in that speech.
Okay, so break that down.
Because identity politics, okay, for example, I'm like a white male. Nobody cares what I say because I'm not marginalized. I have no, in the hierarchy of marginalization, I have no points.
Okay, so what you're saying is that people aren't trying to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, because, now this is the messed up part, which is contradictory to what he says, is like, okay, you might see me shaved head, white dude, and assume you know about me, and then I have no valid points because, oh, I'm not a gay male, I'm not a person of color, so I'm automatically being put in a box, in a category with a diminished opinion because I allegedly don't have any struggles.
So, okay. So, how do you feel that?
See, and that's the opposite. No, you're not even judging me on the content of my character.
Okay,
You're putting me in a box
based on the
because of
color of
how
your
I
skin.
look.
Okay, I feel where you're coming from
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
And so you would say that because we're trying to dance around the white supremacist 2023, but that could kind of be pretty local too because it's local and long whatever uh national. But did you find out if he's a Republican or not?
Yeah, it says that he didn't really talk about his like what party he believed in a lot. The website I'm on, Britannica, says that
Hold on.
he's
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, he said I don't think the Republican Party is full of Almighty God, nor is the
Yeah,
Democratic
you
Party.
know,
That's more just like a
I feel like it would be kind of hard because I feel like maybe the Republican Party back then was probably more racist, but I don't know. I'm just kind of assuming. What do you think?
I mean, it sounds like he's.
Like who's like McNamara? Who's like Jim Crow? Are those people like Republicans? Or those Democrats?
I guess look it up.
Like those are like
Look up what was Jim Crow, Republican or Democrat. I would go ahead and say he's a Republican, but you know, from what I've talked about with some people about, like you said, how the Republicans and the Democrats have switched spots. It's hard to tell, but I would definitely say they were on the side of the racist, which it seems like is the Republican side.
well, and
If
if
we were to
not,
put,
I feel like in the air, that's the general thought. I would think. Now, as a black person, do you think that?
think what,
That like that there were, so you just said it, that they were Republicans, probably. We don't really know, but the temperature of the air is they were probably
if
Republicans.
it is what Republicans are today, then yes, I would put them in that category.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like when people say like, oh well, the Republicans then and Democrats switched.
I don't like that either.
Like, what do you mean? Like, I feel like they move right and left throughout time. Like right now, like I said on the last podcast, like I'm the same as I was, but right now I would be considered like a right person, whereas before I would definitely be considered as like a left person.
And what do you think made that change, though? Do you think it was like, say, the amount of money that you had in your bank, or
No, I think it's like the societal view.
as
Like
you got older?
it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with how politics have progressed further to the left, because I would say that the vibe is like you don't hear much in the news about Republicans doing this, Republicans doing that, but you do hear a bunch of like really far left stuff. So that's kind of dragging the culture to the left a little bit, and at the same time, it's kind of dragging the right to the left a little bit. So now it's dragged the right to the left. I mean, to the point where it's like, okay, now I feel like I kind of like am with you guys.
Okay, and you're saying now, almost with identity politics, do you think it's like magnetizing people to the left or the right? Because it's almost like society's forcing you to pick a side.
Well, yeah, because now let's say the identity politics are going to benefit you, then you're going to be for it. If
Right.
they're not benefiting you, then obviously you're going to be against it and move further to the other side of that,
Right.
which I feel like in my case may have been a factor as well.
Okay, I can understand where that's coming from.
Yeah.
So, with MLK being a Republican, which I think we were talking about, which Republican views do you think he held?
Well, with that being said, him being a Republican, he was also a pastor, a Christian pastor.
Right.
So I feel like also a lot of the Democratic things now, because there's pastors right now that will tell people what they want to hear, but if you're like a real solid, like by the book, like Christian type, you ain't gonna be. I don't know if you'll turn like gay people away from your church, but you ain't gonna tell them it's okay.
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But whereas some people will be like, "Oh, it's okay, just keep coming back and donating." But if that's his whole life and he's like a really serious Christian, I would find it hard to believe that he would be on board with a lot of the things that Democrats push, for sure.
So I feel like you said he wouldn't be able, but I mean, like, okay, let's talk about like, okay, gun control. Do you think he's for gun control?
I would.
Like, do you think he was like an economic Republican?
No, I don't. I don't think so. Like a fiscally conservative Republican.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a Republican by. I mean, that's a difficult question because, like, were the Democrats more God-filled than they are now today?
You said Republicans. Oh,
No, we're
Republicans are.
Democrats. You know what I mean? Like, or because now I seen a video the other day of these two like weirdo chicks talking about like, oh, it would be cool if we made abortion fetish videos. That's like evil, bro.
You're right. That is
You
evil.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's that far left, and I don't think that he would be down with that at all. But I can't speak on was the Democratic Party more like religious then, or was that always been like Christian been more of a right wing thing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
But as far as like we can only assume, like did he have guns? Because I know he was very like nonviolent,
Right.
but nonviolent in protest.
Right.
But that doesn't mean like because in the Bible you protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would assume that yeah he believed in being able to protect yourself,
Yeah, I think he did as well.
and also too like I'm sure with what he's facing he would probably want to maybe have some protection. I'm sure like he has armed guards with him.
Definitely. And it's crazy because then he gets shot.
Yeah,
After everything.
from like long range though.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is our MLK episode, so we wanted to start off with a little bit of MLK, but this is Flagler Weekly, so let's get into our first local topic.
Looks like we have a shooting. What's up with the shooting?
Well, I think we have just one shooting or a couple of shootings.
Looks like
Just the one? Was it
just the one, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this dude, and it's crazy because he was only dating this girl for 3 weeks, and then he gets all mad that she's texting somebody else, creates a big scene. He ended up catching a domestic, and firing a gunshot in public.
That's
charge.
crazy. And they say there's no water parks in Palm Coast. But this guy, he's shooting somebody after 3 weeks.
3 weeks,
Man, that means she got that dangerous
maybe.
caution.
Or I mean, look at like the other guy who just shot the lady in the microtel. Like, maybe it's good for her that this happened right now. I mean, it's only been 3 weeks. Do you think that guy's going to be less controlling and abusive, or become more and possibly end up in a situation like that other girl at the microtel?
You said from getting locked up?
No, I'm saying he's freaking out like that because she's talking to another dude after just 3 weeks. I mean, who even knows? Like, maybe they just hooked up and he's talking to her every day, or like, are they even official? I mean, it's only been 3 weeks.
Right. They could have, who knows
And
what
you-
they said.
I'm just saying, like, already acting crazy like that in 3 weeks. Like, I could see that turning into another situation where, like, how the girl at the microtel, that dude was just
Oh, right.
on her.
There should be no relationship after you shoot at somebody after 3. If like there should be no continuing this relationship and it going any further into another thing or else. And this is gonna be a harsh topic to say, but at that point, I blame the woman. Like not right now, but if she gets back with him.
Yeah, that's
Wait.
speaking of that, yo, what did you say? What did you say right before? Anyway, hold on.
What?
I'm talking about this girl. You say you blame the woman.
Right. Well, I was saying like, hey, little Dave, like just go talk to him over there. It was kind of throwing me off.
Yeah, just
But yeah, man, I just feel like it's one thing right now. Okay, he shot you. You're a victim. I agree. But like, if it's one of those things where like, oh, he says he changed. He said he's gonna like, you know what I mean? Like, then do something like that. You know what I mean? But I just don't. I'm not saying I don't like when it doesn't get blamed, but it's just like, come on, guys. Like, you can do something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
Close that door.
Just don't even worry about it.
Hey, little Dave, close that door. It's like distracting.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, that fucking sucked.
But so I feel
No,
like
no. So you said you blamed the woman.
no, not in this situation. I'm saying like if she gets how you were saying, oh well, in the future, this and this. I'm like, bro, there should be no future, and if there is, then yes, that is her fault. Like if it gets to the next stage where she gets back with him, and we find out, then they get another fault, and she gets shot and she gets killed.
Yeah, but you know what? Too, I bet it was the same thing with the other girl.
With
You know, like who knows when that shit starts? And it's crazy. Like it would be smart of her. I won't say it's her fault. She'll be stupid that if you think that after 3 weeks the dude's acting like this, that later on it will get better or something like that. So I can see how you kind of saying, yeah, that's her fault, but it's a poor decision. I wouldn't say it's her fault. I would say we can't say, oh, this is surprising.
right, right, it's not surprising because it happens all the time.
Yeah, but you know,
But
I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say, but it's unfortunate, and that's really where I feel like we need to be fixing the problem at. Yes, like okay, this is a freak accident. I feel like he showed his true colors right there, and a lot of times
Real quick.
people will get back with these people and get back into these situations. And what she needs to understand is she needs to stay far away from this guy. And if she by choice goes back into that situation, we can't, you're not a victim again. That's just
You
where
know
I
what you're
stand
getting
on it.
into at that point. But then
Yeah.
again, like, I mean, a young girl is like, I'm not trying to call a girl stupid, but she could be naive into what he's selling her. Oh, girl, I'm sorry. This, that happened, you know, because I would say the people that generally do stuff like that are great at justifying why it was okay that you did that. So, and then you're a young girl, and then he's over here maybe even crying. I'm sorry, girl, please.
There's definitely going to be
You know what I
crying.
mean? And like, hopefully she got like some friends that are like, girl, you don't need that.
Right.
Or her family or whatever. Like, because out there on their own, I mean, she could be subjected to getting manipulated by that dude. And then that's why I said I don't really like saying like, it's your fault. But you are putting yourself at risk for future incidents, as I say.
You definitely are trying to fix this. You definitely are putting yourself at risk in other situations. And that's why I just feel like it's better just stay away after that, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's easier said than done, but
yeah, I feel that because I think we can all say that people have made poor choices due to relationship circumstances.
mm-hmm.
And, people have codependency issues. People say they're happy or whatever. You might
Right.
take some shit that you're not even 100% comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of deal with it.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's that. So, hopefully she gets some kind of order against him.
Definitely. I hope she does. So yeah.
I don't even pay attention to it.
No, I was telling him to come back in here and get over our next topic.
Oh, yeah, because it's very distracting. Like, we need to just not even worry about that. The next topic is the people in the Mondex.
Yes, let's please talk about this.
Yes, so I don't know if I agree with this because in the article it was talking about how the sheriff said, okay, first of all, what they say, the cops have been there 132 times over 4-year periods. So that's, say, like 35 times a year, pretty much like 3 times a month. And they say that and this is a quote from these poison peddlers, can't stay here anymore. Then how come they ain't got cases? Like if you,
Yeah, if
like,
you know
like
that they're peddling poison,
yeah,
if you know that they're peddling poison, then you have to have a case against them. You must have some kind of something.
yeah, get cases on them. Like that's what I don't understand. If it's such a problem,
I
like,
don't like how they. Sorry,
no, go ahead.
I don't like how they put that picture up in front of the yard with all their faces on it. That's wild.
This guy thinks he's JD, what is it, Grady Judd
Something
from
like
Polk
that.
County with the whole thing. Like he's like trying to ride that wave a little bit, but he ain't got the same swag as him.
Yeah, it's so and also they call it Daytona North.
They've been saying that.
Like, what is it?
They
I see the signs, but it's like, so is Daytona part? Is that Volusia County or?
No, it's Mondex, which is in Flagler County. Well, I think half of it is in like Flagler County, but the deeper you go, I think it gets into Volusia County.
Is there like, okay, so I guess the Volusia County would be like Pearson or something like that.
I believe so.
I guess it's weird they call it Daytona North because it's not even like connected.
It's not, and plus it's not even. It's like the country.
Yeah,
But I don't like it how you couldn't get these guys and lock them up for a long time, but they're such a nuisance. So you say, hey, you can't go to your own house, which I have a problem with because where's the criminal case?
and how are you allowed to just kick somebody out of their house like that?
Exactly. And I feel like they couldn't get these dudes and they found like some kind of loophole to kind of bust them up. But my thing is too, is like, yo, you know where they're all at right now. You know, if they're making all these moves, set up surveillance, catch them on a case,
Yeah,
build up a conspiracy charge, get them locked up. Like,
yeah, but don't just like sue them.
exactly. I mean, so the one I'm talking about precedence is like, so now what? Any like low income, high crime area that you can't get cases on the fucking people, you're just gonna be like, oh, you gotta go.
Yeah,
Like with no, like, where's the proof, man? Where's the due process?
that is wild. It's almost on some like, and I'm not going to use the other N word that rhymes with Yahtzee, but it's like how you just allowed to pick up people like that and move them away from their house.
I don't agree with that.
Those people could be in like a concentration camp or something like that. We don't know where. It's like they're not at their house. Where are they?
Yeah, I just feel like it's dangerous to just. I don't like the whole civil route to deal with criminal behavior.
It is dangerous.
Because who's next? You know, that's what I say. Who's next?
So with this topic, where do you see us moving forward in the aspect of, because this is going to go into our next topic of unemployment. So how many people was this? Five people?
Five.
Five people. Are they able bodied? Was there anybody? What'd you say about the unemployment? Nobody over 65, nobody under 18?
I believe so, yes.
So was this five people that are able to work?
I think, I didn't look at all that. I just saw the photos and they looked like all of them, if not most of them, yes. But here's the thing, man. Like,
Because that's five people unemployed.
they probably ain't had no fucking jobs anyway.
Right.
Now, look, and I get that these people are a nuisance. I just don't like the idea of skipping the due process. Like, if they're such criminals, why don't they have cases? Lock them up. You just kick them out of the house because they're a nuisance? Like, it's just like, I don't like where that's going. Like, it could be applied to too many other things. You know, like if you get arrested and convicted, you actually go to trial and get convicted, there was strong evidence and research against you to place you there. Not just, oh, we can't win, so we're going to come up with something to shove you along. And do you think any of those people are going to stop what they're doing? Remember in Blood In, Blood Out, when they tried to bust up the...
Is that Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No, that's with the white dude that was in the Mexican Mafia.
Okay.
And it had Danny Trejo.
Is that the same dude from American History X?
No. But they bust them up, and then they bust up the gang, and they just start chapters in all other prisons. So, like, these people, they're going to just go to other places and set up other dysfunctional shops in those areas, too.
I guess and it's like we almost have to look up the actual lawsuit of what they have. Maybe we could post it on a different time. But yeah, I think this is highly unconstitutional.
It seems unconstitutional.
Hmm.
And it doesn't feel good either.
And it ain't right.
It ain't right. And we have other criminal topics as well.
All right, so I think that this is like a local. We got a local teen fighting going down.
Oh, yeah, that just happened this afternoon.
You said somebody got ran over.
Yeah, this is a crazy story, actually. And it's crazy, too, because you were talking about one of your topics tonight was going to be, is Palm Coast gangster?
Right. That's coming up
With
after
all
this topic.
all this stuff that we're talking about and have been talking about on the other shows. And I wouldn't say gangster. I would say ignorant and like thuggish, sure. But anyway, so this specific thing is a brother and sister, 21 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
They like kicked this 15-year-old's ass over at what park does it say? Whatever, some park in Palm Coast.
Uh-huh.
And then this other lady tried to intervene and save the 15-year-old getting beat up by these two. And they ran her ass over. And their video recorded everything. And the one girl got a face tat.
I did see the face tat. And she had a shaved head too, which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
Not wild that she had a shaved head, but I was just like, it gave me gangster vibes. It gave me thug vibes. I was a little scared.
I would say that like the term gangster is thrown around a little bit because I feel like gangster is more of a businessman and like illegal activities.
I think Ty would be a great person. Can you hand him the mic, please, Ty? So with all in January, we're halfway through January right now, and there's been 3 shootings in Palm Coast already. So what constitutes a town or city as gangster, and is Palm Coast gangster or Flagler County?
Damn, that's a tough question, to tell you the truth. Like I kind of agree with what Dave was saying about gangster being like business and stuff like that. But it is wild out here. A lot of people out here really don't care about consequences. You know, people talk freely about criminal things.
That goes back to the unemployment rate and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of people are more willing to do, you know, things in a small area. And it is like that down south because the cost of living is high. So you got to kind of like do certain things you wouldn't normally do, you know, to make ends meet. But here it just seems like
It's just like crazy stuff happening.
Yeah.
Like people just acting wild and like ignorant hood shit really in the streets of Palm Coast.
But it also falls down to like what you know. So like if you don't know anything else, you know, you might not think that you're reacting to some things a little bit out of the norm, especially in this small, you know, population. Because I wouldn't be doing a lot of things that a lot of people are doing out here because it's just that small. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna get noticed.
So pretty much it's like we're not gangster, but it's just like people are starting to get desperate out here.
That's exactly the word. Yeah.
People are
but not really though, because all the crimes we've been talking about have been about people just acting crazy, not about no money.
Jealousy, rage.
Yeah, jealousy, rage, crazy, shooting your grandpa. None of that is in the course of criminal business.
Do you think that comes with like people? How do I explain it? Like with the video games, how it's desensitizing people, and like the internet, how it's like people are just like shooting shit. Like I feel like when I was growing up, it's almost like you're kind of scared someone's gonna die or something like that. Now I'm just like, bro, y'all just shot into a crowd. What the hell?
Well, I honestly feel like every generation is like they have to prove themselves a little bit more. Cause I remember being, you know, in my 20s and seeing like younger kids like, yeah, maybe we had a few guns, stuff like that. But then they were like teenagers with extended clips out their pocket.
Yeah,
And then the next generation after them,
100-round
they're
drum.
gonna shoot it. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So it's kind of like every generation has to outdo the
I was like,
other one.
where'd they get that boldness from, or is it just stupidity?
They're just trying to outdo the people before them. Like before, like I said before, and it might have been a few guns. Then they had guns with clips, and it's like now they gotta like
You know,
shoot them off. So it's just like,
I don't know. I feel like it's got to be some stupidity too, man.
of course it's stupidity.
Like people that become popular now, they don't even like think about like Island Boys. They're ridiculous, and those are like, oh, I just want to have clout. I'm lit, and people are like, oh yeah, these guys are lit. You know, like it looks like that's like the vibe. I feel like people are dumbed down more now.
But that's a different, demographic, because what we're talking about, that doesn't really concern. That's like more people that are really not from kind of the same
consequences.
or the same type of
Yeah.
things that we grew up in. Like they're kind of just like having fun, like whatever. It's a difference.
So, do you think people are like less scared of consequences now?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at, where it's like, yo, like, where are they getting like the balls to even shoot? But then it really brought something to my mind. I know we're in the year 2023, and it kind of blows my mind how there can be gunshots and then like murders can go unsolved for like 6 months. Like, how can they not figure that stuff out? And so I think with the internet, one thing that kids are quickly finding out through YouTube, through Google, is hey, you can shoot someone and get away with it. Like, I think before we were kind of scared, like, oh, if you shoot a gun, they're gonna find you and catch you. But like, I've heard about a couple different shootings and stuff, and it's just like, we don't know who did it.
Well, I think if you do something in Palm Coast, you're probably gonna get caught.
Nah, I've heard about people doing stuff in Palm Coast and they haven't gotten caught.
But I'm gonna say this too. Also, a lot of kids nowadays are not getting their ass beat.
So
So
then
they don't-
there's no consequences at home.
Exactly. So they don't.
We
fear
don't know
shit.
what a consequence is.
They don't fear nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have any. You don't know what fear is. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yo, they ain't fearing shit.
People are coddled, I feel like, and then they do whatever, and then it's something extreme. And I feel like a lot of kids these days feel like one thing can't change your life forever. One little thing, it might take a half an hour, and then nothing will ever be the same.
They think it'll just be like restart the video
Yeah,
game or
I feel
something
like
like
there's
that.
almost like a disconnect with reality of like the consequences of your actions. Like, oh, I'll be all right. But it's crazy because the sentences and everything is just gets harsher and harsher every year. It's not like people get less trouble now. You're getting more trouble now.
Definitely. And I feel like definitely the kids and the consequences, that's a big thing. But overall, like we said, a mixture of stupidity, the internet, but like
Lack of
just if you had like a dirty gun, because a lot of kids go like car shopping and stuff, they find a dirty gun that's not registered to them. If you shoot with that, how are you going to get caught? Like a ring camera, maybe.
ring camera, you talk too much, somebody tells on you.
Yeah.
Circumstantial evidence, and the police break you down in interrogation, and you admit.
Now they have those license plate cameras.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's crazy that they're definitely going to pull up. Everybody, I appreciate you guys checking out the podcast. To the viewers that are in right now, if you could do me a favor and please share this podcast so we can get out to more people. We're trying to stay local. If you're in Flagler County, share this podcast, please. Greatly appreciate it. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the unemployment rate. That's where we were going with this. And what we were talking about is it's anybody that's between the ages of 18 and 65. And if you have 2 jobs, it still counts as just employed.
You're employed. Yeah.
I'm employed. But so if it's at, let's say in Flagler County it's 100,000 people. So if it's 3.5%, that's 3,500 people that are unemployed. That's not that many people. Like, what about injured people? Do they count?
I don't know. I mean, if you're injured,
Can you look up like what counts under the
are
unemployment?
you on disability? Because I think if you're like on disability,
You're
you'd
employed.
still be considered employed. Yeah. I would think so.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, I'm trying to think of this 3,500 people that might not be
I
working.
mean, that does sound like kind of a lot. I mean, how many neighborhoods are in Palm Coast? Like 10? So that's 350 per section.
And then it's like, how many houses are in each section? So it's
I don't know,
like,
but just think 350 people in the P section,
and then
350 people in Pine Lakes.
and then think about it. Think about like, what if your dad is rich and you're like a 25-year-old kid? I don't need a job. I'm figuring it out. I'm going to school.
Well, I think if you're in school, you're you know calculated. Maybe you're not as employed, but you're not unemployed because you're doing something else full time.
We got to figure this out.
But
What are the requirements of being like?
well, I'll speak on this because I feel like I'm the Republican on the show.
Mhm.
So, but they always say like, oh, the unemployment rate right now is lower than ever. This and that.
And then I bet their kids don't work.
But not only that, but it's like people might have a job, but people still can't pay for shit.
Right. They
You
could
know?
be working at Burger King.
Like the average, I don't say average because less than average people, their medial jobs just ain't gonna pay it, and that's why people got to have two jobs. And it's like, oh hey, great, I got two jobs, but the unemployment rate's down, and I still can't pay my bills. So what does that number even matter? How is that good or bad? Like as an indicator.
You got something over there, Lil Day?
Uh, it looks like it says you can theoretically receive unemployment benefits along. I don't think this doesn't really have anything to do with. I think disability is separate from unemployment. Like when you're on disability, that's not like unemployment.
No, we're not saying like you're talking about like unemployment benefits. We're talking about just unemployment as not having a job.
Yeah, because one thing that a president is critiqued on is the unemployment rate of the country. So we're just looking at Flagler County right now, and I
So-
believe our unemployment rate is like 3.5.
See, but that's why I say that's bullshit, because who cares if people got jobs if they're shitty jobs and you ain't making enough to pay your bills, and it doesn't even matter.
I'm gonna look it up. Flagler County unemployment rate. It's 3.2. Okay. And then Flagler County population is like 103. So that means it would be about 4,000 people. So it's 120,000 people and 932. So let me do some quick math. Y'all stick with me here. Okay, so 120, let's call it 121,000 times 0.032 equals there's 3,872 unemployed people between the ages of 18 and 65. That's not that many.
There's not even that many places to work at here.
That's a valid point. And
But I feel like that is a lot, though.
Break that down, what you just said there about there's not that many places to work here.
Yeah, there's no factories here. Like, we're going to work Publix, Walmart, for some guy who owns a small business. But how many small businesses could there be? There only be so many pressure washers and lawn guys and air conditioning guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There's no real factory or large employment center that people can work
Right.
at. I remember like people used to always want to like lower end people. They would always want to drive to like Hawaiian Tropic and get a job. And that's not even the
Yeah.
Palm Coast.
Wow. So how does that count?
And
All right. Well, I got one question. So, when it comes to unemployment, see, I don't know this answer to this, but do you have to have at least one job to be considered unemployed?
Wait,
Does it
to
how
be
does it work?
considered employed?
No, unemployed. Like to get the benefits, do you have to at least had a job and got laid off and be like, I'm unemployed? Or can you apply for
no, because
unemployment?
your employer pays unemployment insurance.
So you have to have one.
For 1 year. You have
Yeah.
to work there for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what we're looking up like, okay, so let's even say the unemployment rate was like 10%. It's like, so what does that even mean? People aren't, or like, okay, what if people, let's check this out. What about the people who are making money off the books?
Unemployed.
What about the people who? Yeah. What about the people who do hair and they just take cash, or just are barbers and they're making $250 a day
They can
cash?
file for it. Like you said, if they had a job before,
Well, no, we're not talking about unemployment benefits. It's just we're talking about like the unemployment rate. You know what I mean? Because it's like
what does
they,
that factor in? You're saying
like yeah, like okay, let's say I washed cars and I just took cash. I didn't even file for LLC or anything like that. I'm making money. I can live. I could pay my rent.
Yeah, but
I
that's,
could do
that's
all
technically illegal. So I mean, they don't count that.
and also
No, but what I'm saying
had
is
they
like,
had jobs before because we just discussed that. I guess for benefits, if you're eligible to get the benefits, then that means you're classified as being unemployed.
yeah.
So if you've never had a job to classify for those benefits, I don't think they could put you in that category.
Right. Yeah. We're not really talking about the benefits right now.
We're not. We're talking about people.
Yeah, unemployed people.
But like you said, with the hair stuff, if they never had the qualifications,
Yeah, they're not going to get
then they're not
unemployment.
going to be in those numbers. Is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for the benefits.
Okay, so you're saying there could be more. Wait, no.
no, I'm saying
They're
that-
going to be in those numbers regardless.
Are you sure? If they've never even been eligible to reap the benefits, that
But
they'll
but
be
they're
in the
still
conversation?
they're in the population of Flagler County.
Population, but the conversation is different.
Right. So it would be like, okay, you live in the P section. We know you live in the P section. It's on your ID. So do you have a job? No. On books, no, but you could do hair. So our unemployment, I feel like it's
Employment
really
rates is based off the population. You're trying to say,
the population compared to who has a job.
yeah.
So if your job isn't on the books,
True.
I think our real unemployment rate is really only maybe half of that.
Yeah, but it's not calculated that way.
Right. No, I get it.
No, yeah.
That's what I'm saying is a problem. That's what I'm saying. Like, let's even say like they're talking about, oh, the unemployment rate's going up. It's like, I don't want to say that's like a good thing, but I think like say with the PPP money and stuff like that, people were definitely starting their own businesses and stuff, whether they was all the way on the books or not and stuff like that. But I feel like I don't think people are doing as bad as the books may seem, is what I'm trying to say. As the unemployment rates may try and make it seem.
Probably so, but I know the big companies are doing bad. Like,
Yeah, I don't think people are doing good. I mean, those people you're talking about, like, that's not that many people to really affect that. Like, out of that 3,200 people, how many of those people you think do hair and like wash cars and shit? 200 or so, 300. I mean, they're getting a
think
little bit of
more
money,
than
but
that.
they ain't paying no taxes. So who cares the fuck if they got a job?
Like
If
the
they-
people who are like selling dogs and stuff
If-
like that.
Yeah, then they're supposed to pay taxes. Because here's another thing too. You're gonna make $250 a day off the book, but they want to fucking apply for food stamps that you want me to pay for.
and that's
You want me to kick somebody your Section 8?
But I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you
Come
this,
on, man.
Dave. Like, that is the reason why the reason why our economy is crashing, because there is a lot of more people, like John saying, doing hair,
Right.
selling dogs.
Right.
It's a lot more people that are not going to go work for
Right.
these companies that they did for 20 years, and that has a lot to do with our
That-
economy
that-
is suffering right now. Where they're trying, like,
Yeah,
the
they're
new
just
generation-
sucking everything out and ain't kicking nothing back from what they're making.
On purpose.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's almost like okay, so what I'm saying is this is like America's problem. Like, why don't people want to give to America? Because they don't feel like they get anything back from giving to America.
They're taking the shit from them right then. What are you talking about?
They're taking what, the benefits? Like, and you're saying you want me to give taxes? So
All right, look,
what am I going to get for giving you these taxes?
You already getting fucking food stamps. You're getting whatever else you're getting, and you're so greedy you can't even go kick a little bit up to kick a little bit back into that. And then
I feel like a lot of
that's a sorry
our
person.
tax money is being misappropriated by the government. So I don't think it's fair to say you can't kick it up to get it back. Because
Yeah,
I'm already paying taxes
we
whenever
both-
I
You
buy
pay
some-
taxes?
Whenever I buy something,
That's-
I'm speaking for the person.
That's state sales tax. That's not federal tax.
But
We're
we
talking
all
about federal
know,
funded programs, not state funded programs.
we all know from the bottom to the top, there's people that's going to take advantage of the system.
right.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's people that's taking advantages of the system on the lower end, and there's people that's on the. So it's like, how can you really did around that. Like it's kind of the good with the bad. Like it's no way because I know a lot of people that just use the government assistance and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people that's on the top that swerve their way around when they're
Yeah.
paying lower
You know,
taxes a fucking year. So.
and really, I mean, I can't say that I really blame either of them because, like, let's say I'm like some woman that got like 2, 3 kids, and I can get all this free money, or I could go work at McDonald's for 40 hours a week and maybe make 30, 40 more
And
dollars.
then have to pay daycare, which is
Yeah.
more than you're making at
Yeah,
McDonald's.
so I don't blame you, but I feel like that creates laziness and less drive.
I mean, but what's the other option? That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's America's problem. Where, you know, when you it's something that I really learned about, which is crazy. A lot of people might be like, "Wow, John, you didn't know that," but it's funny because did you know that when you buy a home and you rent it out, like there's a human being living in your investment? It's like it's so crazy because I'm like the president of that house. You know, like I make the laws in that house. Like, and then there's a time where she's like, huh? Yeah. And then it's a time where it's oh, it's getting really cold. And then like the heater went out. So it's like, you got to kick out some money. And then it's like, I can't really, I'm a little short this month. And it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to kick them out or are you going to like let them slide a little bit? So I feel just like anything that happens in this country, if there's some people that are taking advantage of the system, it's like, why do they feel? I don't feel like people fuck with a good system.
It's not a good system.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a
Yeah,
good
I
system.
mean, what do you?
I'm saying
I don't,
if it was a good system, then the people would be more willing to give back. And I'm not saying like a church, but like even poor people give to churches.
well, poor people give away more money than rich people do anyway. I would say.
That's kind of what I'm saying. And it's two things that I feel like they really care about. And I think there's a disconnect going on with America and its poor people. So it's like that we're going back to the unemployment rate, who people deem as poor. But it's like, okay, this is what we're talking about, where it's like, and it's funny because I see myself as a president now, which I get it. I do want to fix the unemployment rate, and I want not in the, I think a lot of us think that they care about the unemployment rate and the employment rate because they care about poor people having money. No, it's about people paying taxes.
Exactly.
We have, so right now the country's unemployment rate is 3.5%, and that's 5.7 million people not paying motherfucking taxes.
And getting money.
That's when you really look at the numbers, that's big. That's a lot of money that you're missing out on.
Yeah.
That they should be working and paying federal taxes off of their paychecks. I'm not saying we're going into slavery, but it's like, yo, these are
No, you're in slavery. What are you talking about? That never ended. They just expanded it.
back to the MLK talk.
They just expanded it, bro.
Now everybody's a slave.
Exactly.
And it's like, so the unemployment rate being 3.5% is like, damn, how low do you really want it to get to zero? Is that even possible?
That'd be a lot of working.
Especially if you went, because this is what I was also getting at. The richer people get, their kids are not going to be working. I don't care if they're 18, if they're 15, if they're 25.
Yeah.
You know
What if
I mean?
what if you're a dividend recipient? Are you unemployed? Are you unemployed?
You know what I mean? Like, I think so. Like, if you were a millionaire and he's 23 and he's just not paying any bills or anything, like,
I feel like it is kind of a bullshit number too.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, where's it supposed to be at? 1%?
Yeah, and then also too, like, what if there's a 0% unemployment rate, but you still can't afford to pay your bills on the job that you got? Is that supposed to be better? Like,
It's not better.
I feel like it's kind of a bullshit metric, for sure.
So that's just, that's big. So then it goes back to in Flagler County, where do we think our 3.5% is coming from? Drug dealers, the dog people, the plate people,
Local crazy people? Like, what if you're on like some kind of mental disability? Are you still unemployed?
You got something to say? Hmm. Let's see.
Well, like you was talking about economy and drug dealers and all that, right? So like, I forget. I think we was talking about it not too long ago, but like, if everybody walked out of like jail tomorrow, our economy would crash.
Mm. Why
Like,
do you think that?
because this big business, from the judges to the correctional office to the facilities, like
Yeah, Stu. Every prison is like in a little small, like little shit town, and that's like the
Like
factory
shit,
in that
we
town.
damn near need one here in Palm Coast.
we all, with crime, we would damn near crash off of crime, bro. Like, because America makes a lot of money off of fucking crime.
See, I don't like when they say like a lot of money, like because the taxpayers are paying that. Like when a private company has like a prison that the state's paying, they say that you make money, but
The
really
government
they're
pays
taking.
them.
Yeah, that's
So it's
us
our
funding
money.
that. That's us funding private companies.
So it shouldn't even. It should be a non-profit.
Yeah, there should never be a system that profits having people locked up. Look at all that potential corruption. And in fact, in a lot of the state contracts with these private prisons, the state will guarantee them a minimum occupancy. So yeah, BlackRock,
Look that up.
we'll
Guaranteed minimum occupancy.
we'll guarantee you that we'll
at
keep this
private
prison
But
prisons.
look, that's how.
85% full.
That's what I mean. The business of that is so big to the point where they have to use outsources. It's like if you owned a warehouse and you only got this amount of trucks to move a product, but you got so much product, you gotta put out extra trucks. You know what I'm saying? So you use an outsource to it, and that's how big that fucking business is.
So there's so many people that need to be locked up. We need to outsource prisons.
Bro, this is crazy, bro. Most of the private prison contracts in America require states to keep at least 90% of beds filled.
Whoa.
Or no, listen to this. This is the crazy part. Or pay a penalty
Whoa.
to private for profit corporations. So if we don't lock up enough people,
Whoa.
we have to then pay more taxes as a penalty to the private corporations.
Okay, now here we go. Now hold on.
That's crazy.
Hold on. I'm about to pull the race card. I'm about to pull it. Okay, so it's like these corporations own private prisons. And if they're 90% full at all times, or else there's a penalty, and then the majority of those people locked up are black people.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I want to say this really quick. I'm gonna look up how many out of prisons in America are private prisons. I feel like
Yeah.
that's
or how many private prisons there are.
So
Yeah.
you're saying like they just want to like lock black people up and keep them in jail?
And they're being compensated for doing so and punished for not doing
Yeah,
so.
and on top of that, those private prisons can also employ people for like 17 cents an hour, or 18 cents an hour, whatever, and contract their work in other aspects too, call centers, this and that. And you think the state's getting that money? Nah, the private prison is getting that money.
But the other thing is too, not just about race, but I know that cops will like lock up homeless people and shit just to hit those fucking numbers.
That's crazy. So they do have quotas.
Like so think about it. They lock up homeless people and they keep them like the head counts. You already know. They keep you in the head count so they can lock you in. This shit's business.
Do you think
Yeah.
that's possibly why it takes so long to like get out too? Because
For
like,
sure, they gotta at least get you for one head count.
yeah,
At least because
bro, bro, you can't get out now.
yeah, you gotta wait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You gotta collect.
we got to put you through the system.
All right, so 8% of the prisons in the United States are private, while 92 are public.
Oof.
But
8% are private. That's not
8%
horrible.
is 158 prisons.
158 prisons.
In Florida.
158. No, in the United States.
Nah, man, that's crazy. Was
Crazy.
That's
You
that's
think
Oh,
it's
you said
very-
there's 158 private
private
prisons.
prisons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So that's at least 3 per state.
and all of those have to be
48 states in America.
50.
I know we got 50 states, but I mean, like actually, like North America. How many states are actually?
You mean like not like Hawaii or Alaska?
like territories.
Yeah, it's like 48 then.
Yeah, the lower
The-
48.
Yeah, the 48 here, but I mean Hawaii has a prison and Alaska I'm sure has prisons
Like
too.
what? 2 times at least, 3 times maybe.
Yeah, there's 3 for every state it sounds like.
That's just private.
Just private. And that's only what percent? 9%? That's 8%. So let's call it 10%. So that's 150. So that means there's 1,500 public ones. So if there's 3 for each, then that means there's 30 public prisons for each state.
Crazy. Big business.
Yeah. And it's not only the prisons too, man. Think about like the probation officers. Think about the police unions.
I was just thinking about that. Like, think about the people that would lose jobs
You know
if
what-
there was no crime.
Yeah, and let me just insert this in real quick too. I just saw an article talking about how the health department of Bunnell, the same little building that's been there forever, on a little side street. They're like, oh, we need money, but yet the police just got a $20 million new station because they're making money off of arresting us. Meanwhile, the place that's helping people for free ain't getting none. So like, I don't like that either. And then they pull this shit like this civil forfeiture shit. Yeah.
That's definitely crazy. But one thing that is crazier than that. Let me see. One thing that is crazier than that though is that if your home is in need of some fresh updating, Flagler Precision Painting is here to meet your desired look. Flagler Precision Painting LLC is a quality boutique residential and commercial painting company offering interior and exterior painting as well as epoxy floor coating. I love epoxy floors.
That's nice.
Like, I think it's like a thing for me. Like, just, I don't know, like, when people like watching like videos and stuff like that are like calming or certain
Like satisfying videos.
bro, epoxy floors do it for me every time. Like, just lay me on one when I die. You know what I mean? And Flagler Precision Painting does possibly the best epoxy floors in Flagler County. They're located in Flagler County, Florida, and their goal is to provide you with prompt service of the highest quality standards when it comes to upgrading your home. You can feel free to reach out to them for free home estimates, and you can call them today. We're gonna put the information in the description on the post, but definitely Flagler Precision Painting LLC. Reach out to them, definitely. Now back to Flagler Weekly.
We got got some drama going down in the Mondex, you guys.
No, we covered
Oh,
that
did
when
we?
we stepped out.
Did
Yeah,
we?
yeah,
What about this brother and sister assault?
did it.
Did it? Okay.
When you were in there greeting the guest in the green room,
Be quiet, bro.
we were we covered that real quick. We had to keep it moving, bro.
Hey, I understand. All right. Are The Simpsons fake?
Bro, I'm so glad that you brought this up because this shit really be pissing me off whenever I see it. It's like this goes back to the fucking, and I remember you wanted to talk about the
Mandela effect.
the Mandela effect, but it's like I'm so tired of hearing about people saying like, "Oh, The Simpsons had an episode about this." I think those clips are fake. Like, I don't think The Simpsons had an episode about like. I heard like the Donald Trump one was kind of fake.
I don't remember the episode
I've heard
when
some
they
other
were
ones
coming
like.
down.
Can people like make fake Simpson clips? Because they also don't really look very Simpson-y. They look like off-brand, like old Lisa and stuff like that.
But another thing is too is like Simpsons been out for like 30 years, man. Like
So they have like
they talk
1,000
about
episodes.
everything, like.
Yeah,
And I remember that they stretched it a little bit too. Like I remember like when COVID first started, they were like, "Oh, Simpsons predicted COVID," and I actually remember the episode that they were quoting is when like the little Chinese worker guy was in the factory and he coughed in a box, and then everybody in Springfield got affected, and they just tried to say, "Oh, look, this was predicted by The Simpsons. And it wasn't COVID. They got sick on something or another
Yeah,
in the episode.
some of them be stretches, and I'd be like, bro, come on, man.
But that
I don't
kind
know
of brings
about
that brings me like to the Mandela effect. Like maybe it changed.
Mm.
You know, like you've heard about like right how like they said like different labels like this brand looked like this.
Mhm.
I remember it looking like this, and now it's this. So I feel like they
The Mandela effect. What exactly does that mean? If we can explain it for the guests, like, or for the people watching. So it's like with the baloney thing,
Well,
like Oscar Mayer, but I was like
yeah.
Oscar Mayer.
yeah, like that. Well, they said like, a lot of people. It's called the Mandela effect because a lot of people thought that Mandela like died when he was in prison. Which I remember that not being true at all because I thought it was funny that he was married to his wife the entire time he was in prison for like, what was he in jail for like 30 years, something like that plus.
So
Like, then
she was in South Africa.
Yeah. But then he ended up like getting divorced with her like a year after he got out. They
Man,
were like, yeah,
he probably found out. I was gonna ask. You think she was like cheating? You think she was like
I don't know.
like?
I mean, yeah, of course she was. But is
30
that cheating if you're gone for 30 years?
Come on, bro.
Come on, girl.
Come on.
Just wait for me, girl.
I'm fighting for the peace of our country. Yeah, but this back isn't gonna blow itself out.
But who even knows if could he get conjugals? Because I don't think he was in like a work camp. I feel like
Could he get conjugals in South Africa? What Ty? Let Ty get on the mic. You've been to South Africa. Now, do you think their prisons? Just I'm not saying you've seen it, but do you think their prisons, just from the look, are better or worse than ours?
Well, I like the prison that he was locked up in. They turned into a museum, and I didn't go see it. Like,
Okay.
at that time, no, real like that was on the list, but I had a lot of things on the list.
No, it's funny. Other on the list was like strippers. It's like maybe it's like going to see. It's like
fight a lion,
yeah.
threesome with twins.
Yeah.
Mandela. That's what it was like. I just didn't make it.
Nah, I didn't go see it, dude. But it turned into a museum.
Oh
It's
my
on the
God.
island.
Hilarious.
So I don't know what the traditions are, but I'm pretty sure
It was probably a shitty
it
prison.
was harsh because I seen
So no conjugal visits.
I seen their like they call them townships.
Mm.
It's like they slums and stuff out there.
But he was like, I wonder if he was like a, you know how like to say if you get arrested in America and like you're like a upper person, you go to like a federal place. Like even like Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever, they say she's like in the Panhandle, like in a pretty luxurious prison. I wonder if like he was like a more of a fancier political.
Oh no, he definitely wasn't.
No, definitely wasn't.
No, no.
In general population.
Gen pop.
Oh well, I don't know if he was in general population, but I seen the prison and stuff like that. Like it's like on the island, like, and I think he did 20 years. I think he did 20.
Damn, that's a long time.
But it was but the crazy thing is like he's on every note, every coin in South Africa.
Wow.
Mandela is on. It's just him.
And then when he got out, he became president, though, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, what exactly did Nelson Mandela get locked up for? But go back to the Mandela effect. We kind of got lost.
Yeah, well, it's like when people just remember something one way, and then they see it later on, and it's different than what they remember.
Okay.
And they're like, "Oh, I swore it was like this."
Yeah.
It's a false memory. It's a false memory that occurs, and I guess it's like a widespread thing. You know, it's like a common misconception. So like a lot of people will think that
Well,
this looked that way or this looked that way.
I've heard a lot of people say like, whenever they fire up the CERN, we jump a dimension, and that alters like what we remember.
I've
Well,
heard that.
Also, there's things you're not gonna remember something perfectly, so it makes sense that you might misremember a label.
But I think it's like when a lot of people like
maybe
remember it a
interdimensional
different way.
travel has nothing to do with it. Maybe it's just
Maybe that's a
I just didn't remember something right,
maybe that's just a glitch in the matrix, bro, and not even
And they're
really.
lying to us.
or you just didn't remember something right.
I would rather lean towards the conspiracy theory.
You'll see in about 15 years, little Dave. But what was I gonna say? What did Nelson Mandela get arrested for?
He was like a political prisoner.
I know, but I want to know, like, it's almost like how John Gotti got like hit for tax evasion. So I just want to know, like, did they get him for tax evasion?
Yeah,
Like,
so-
what did he do for 20 years?
This is crazy. So in 1962, arrested on charges of leaving the country without a passport and enticing workers to strike. It was the beginning of 20. He got 27 years.
That's not even a crime, bro.
That's what I'm saying,
But
bro. That's
but
wild.
look, that's not America either. Like there's other crimes.
He
Oh, you start
organized
trying
an
to-
illegal strike and leaving the country with invalid travel documents. I mean, you don't know though. In Africa, it's different. You
That's
can't
what I'm
say it's
saying.
not a crime.
No, not that it's not a crime. We're just saying that crimes are different here than there. But
Yeah, because they don't have like a
yeah,
constitution.
and it almost shows you, goes back to America, how people be like, be happy to live in America because you're allowed to strike. There is no illegal strikes in America and stuff like that.
Heck yeah. That's why when people be bashing America, it's like, yeah, a lot of shit is kind of fucked up, but you know, a lot of places are kind of more fucked up.
They are, but then this kind of went into the. You got some?
Before that, in 1956, he got arrested in 1962 and then got 27 years. But in 1956, he got arrested in a raid and was accused of treason.
That's-
Yeah, but they were found not guilty.
Okay,
But then he went back to jail.
they were trying to get him.
Yeah, they're just that's another like made up
Yeah.
charge.
Got him 6 years later.
He wouldn't shut up, and then they got him.
But definitely, man. But what was like the title of this topic that we're on right now?
The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, so just going back to the original point, I just feel like a lot of that shit is bullshit. Like I don't be remembering like because I saw a lot of those Simpsons episodes. And like you said, they be taking it's almost like taking a cut or a quote from somebody, kind of like misquoting them.
I've seen that in other things too. I remember like there was this like Sesame Street like advertisement, and it had two buildings, and it was like it was like issue like 2001 or something like that, and they were trying to be like, oh, this predicted 9/11. They kind of reach on stuff because it kind of looked like it was the two towers, but then there was like other subliminal
Yeah.
messages in that cover.
Well, here we have 10 predictions that came from The Simpsons that came true. This gives the season and the episode. We gotta look further into this and come back to it. It's Lady Gaga on the Super Bowl, season 23, episode 22. Walt Disney and Fox merger, season 10, episode 5. Trump presidency, that's one you guys are talking about, season 11, episode 17. Matrix 4 premiere, season 15, episode 4. Ooh, pandemic. I want to see what episode
That's the one that we were
is.
talking about, where the Chinese dude coughs
Yeah,
in the box.
I want to see. Yeah, I did see that episode.
Yeah.
That is episode.
But what I'm kind of trying to say is just like
You think
okay,
you think it's more coincidental, not that they're predicting anything.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this hot take. What I think is going on is, I think that we're looking stuff up on an internet that can be changed by who knows who. So it's like, yeah, okay, they may say that after the fact, but like, and I know this is hard to say, but it's like, okay, so now I want something else to happen, and then it be in The Simpsons. You know what I mean? But it's like okay, then how come it's always like after, but nobody's ever like predicting the future, if that makes sense. Even though they're saying that they're predicting the future, but nobody's ever like, okay, The Simpsons say this is gonna happen, let's see it happen.
Well, off of what you're talking about, like I feel like when it comes to comedians or people with a sense of humor or people that feel things, they have a different outlook on life because they look on things like deeper. Like they say the same things that make you laugh will make you cry. So a lot of comedians are so in tune to people that they could possibly predict how things are gonna go because they're very in tune on people.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But like the Lady Gaga one, like
Okay,
was there
that-
even
yeah.
was there even a Lady Gaga back then? for them to like, would they just have like a blonde lady in like an outfit like
That's
that?
yeah, probably because well, here is an episode,
mean-
season 23. So she blonde lady. That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
stretch it sometimes, like with.
But episode 23, like, was there a Lady Gaga back?
Oh,
like,
think about it like this, like Marilyn Monroe.
2012, Lady Gaga was the thing.
Like,
Yeah, she was.
look at history, like Marilyn Monroe. Okay, it's like the same thing. It's like it repeats itself. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh yeah, it's going to be a new coming of every thing that you've seen before, basically.
that makes sense.
So it's like Lady Gaga, yeah, blonde lady, same and shit. It'd be like the same thing as like fucking.
You know what I just thought of, like like Chat GPT.
Okay.
How it can take it can read the whole internet right then. Complete a song or complete this. Maybe they've already been using
ChatGPT to make episodes.
or something like that.
Wow, that's
Say
deep.
that this could potentially happen.
That's dope. Because I was gonna say, like, bro, I just want to know what's next. Like, okay, I've seen aliens on Simpsons. Are there aliens? But didn't they do some weird shit? Didn't they like eat us?
Yeah, they had Khan and Kang. Those are the
Break
two,
it down.
Those are the two aliens that always visit the Simpsons.
They found that cookbook and it was like
Yeah.
how to cook humans, how to cook for humans.
Yeah, and they kept
how to
wiping,
cook
they kept
40
wiping the
humans.
dust off of it.
Yeah.
Because Lisa found the book. He's just like, look,
Space
how to cook
dust.
humans. And then like the rubber's like, how to cook for humans. and then they ended up, it wasn't to cook humans though, wasn't it?
No. It was how to cook for
Oh yeah, yeah.
40 humans.
And then they
were
got all
like,
salty that they didn't
yeah.
trust them. And then they're like, now that you've proven you don't trust,
The Simpsons ruin
yeah.
alien and
Yeah.
human connection.
And then end up like leaving them, yeah.
So what's gonna happen? Give me a predict. You watch this show all the time. Give me a prediction. of
Well,
what's gonna
I
happen.
did watch it all the time. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched that show in like a decade. But is it even out now still?
I don't think so. I don't know.
It is?
But what I'm saying is like everything always come back around. Even like let's just say the Bible. Like how many stories the Bible has in the Bible that can relate to today. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's like the same story, different time. It all comes back around. Like it's easy to predict things because it's already happened 100 times before.
It's just going to happen in a slightly different scenario again.
That's it.
Yeah, with different characters. Yeah, that's crazy. I was talking about like today, like, like the whole story of like Jesus and everything is the same story of Isis and Osiris and how they had their son and they had 13 disciples. Like, it's literally like verbatim the same exact story.
Yeah, and it's like how far apart, and they're
That was
they're
like
probably,
5,000 years
yeah,
old, and then 3,000 years later, they come out with the Jesus one, and then is it about to be another one now?
It's like, oh, did I tell you about this guy named Jesus? Not tell me about him. Oh, he had 13. I think I've heard this story before, bro. nah. Turn water to wine.
So this is more of like an official answer to your question. Is Simpsons still going? So their 33rd season.
Damn.
33 seasons.
Oh,
Now,
what is that? Freemasons?
33 degree Freemason? Oh,
Is
maybe.
this gonna be their last season?
The 33rd season ended on May 22nd, 2022. So I guess we're just chilling right now.
I heard that
Holy shit.
I heard that once you become a 33rd degree Mason is when you really, after that, there's other degrees.
Like you're born?
But then that's the real shit that you start finding out once you get to that level.
Welcome.
So maybe The Simpsons is about to go like
Whoa.
extra crazy right
Simpsons
now.
2.0? Oh,
And coincidentally enough, what age did Jesus die?
33. Holy shit.
That's pretty crazy, bro.
Holy shit.
I did
Yeah.
the math, so you guys were talking
You did
about
the
like
knowledge?
the predictions and whatnot, but I did so the 33 times. I'm gonna say there's like 22 episodes.
This boy's doing numerology.
22
What's the
episodes.
mathematics?
Like 22 episodes a season, right? That's 726 episodes. So that's 726 episodes where they had like an opportunity like to predict the future, you know? I wonder how many out of those 726, like how many like
Well, they just had 10.
They just had
probably
10.
More.
Yeah.
There's more.
yeah, I wonder how many.
But
there
I
is.
feel like a couple of those were already reaching that list of 10 though,
I would agree.
to be accurate.
I would agree.
Wow, the number 33 is deep.
It is.
What's today's mathematics?
Wait, hold on. I know it. I know it. So today the 19th? Yesterday was the 18th. Today's the 19th. So it's knowledge, and then it's what is 9? Oh man, I forgot. I sent the picture in the thing. Supreme.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was looking at. Today's mathematics. Oh, here we go. Born.
Knowledge born.
But in what like aspect is that like 9?
Show him.
See, these are supreme mathematics.
Oh, Supreme. That's what it means. Number wise, you're saying.
Yeah. So like today's 1-9. So that's how you do today's mathematics. So you read what the 1 is and what the 9 is.
Yeah.
Who was that based off? Who came over that?
The 5%ers.
This is like some 5% Muslim. What? Yeah.
The Black Israelites.
Yo, God, what's today's mathematics, B?
Peace, King. What is today's mathematics,
What did I
young
said,
one?
I said it to you the other day too. It was funny because I knew it, and you were like, "Is that it?" And you googled it, and it was right. It's
Yeah,
like
knowledge
build
and
it-
destroying.
Yeah, build knowledge, destroy. Now I can't even say it now that we're on.
Yes, but Dave is Black Israelite. See, this is how far we came on MLK.
Yeah, exactly. You got the white dude telling the black dude, "Today's mathematics."
Yeah, that is coming pretty far.
Yeah.
But so what do we got? What you got for us?
That's it, man.
End of the line.
That's all I got.
Nice, man.
What's up? You want to argue about something?
I was about to ask you. Do you guys have anything personal you want to add?
I guess we could talk about, and we actually need to have an actual solid convo. And I'm glad Tyus is here because I feel like he's gonna give an honest speculation. So this is one point, and I'm gonna try and paint David in the best light that I can and not be biased. But he said, "What did Obama do for black people?" And I said, motivate us and like give us higher consciousness level. Let us know that it's actually possible we can become the president of the United States. Like that was like motivating people. And it's almost like a ripple effect. And he says he ain't do shit.
Well, and he's by self-admission said he was more of a Republican than a Democrat anyway.
But I think what I was more saying is the fact of how he did do stuff for black people.
See, and I say that that's just a ruse to keep you blind and voting Democrat and shutting the fuck up. Because the book that I read, Black Power versus False Black Power, the author explains how, yes, there's more representation now. However, there's no black infrastructure like there used to be before the civil rights. But yet, there's more people talking about it. But there's no, like, remember when Killer Mike did that thing?
But we need a ripple. We need a first stone thrown in the water to get to where you're talking about.
Well, I mean, what happened with that, though? How'd that work out?
Well, it worked out well.
No, I mean, it's a lot of things on that.
I don't get how that was funny though.
No, I'm just waiting on him to answer.
No, I mean, that's a tough.
Look, here's what...
Because I did what you're saying.
I'm going to do my Obama voice.
Was more of a symbol, but he didn't have a lot of support.
And policy.
Yeah, and that. And, like, when I think about, like, black leadership and shit, or, like, the best time for black people I feel like it was in the 60s.
Pre-civil rights movement.
Which was, like...
61.
A lot of people got killed in the 60s, too.
I'm interested to hear this.
Malcolm X got killed in the 60s. MLK got killed in the 60s.
Yes.
JFK got killed in the 60s. His brother got killed in the 60s.
They were really trying to wash some shit away.
People started getting too loose, man. They were like, we got to tighten up all these loose ends. And the CIA got busy.
Yeah,
and did what they had to do.
They're about to do it. So why is that the best time, though?
But because there was a lot of movement going around for that. Like you said, civil rights and like a lot of things changed at that time. And it was a lot of people
People were standing up and fighting
for the change. We're talking about the president. We're talking about possibly the two greatest black leaders we probably ever had. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of in the 60s, it was going down. So after that, it was kind of like
But
play alone, like
Yeah,
I would.
Type of
we've been
games.
scared to have leaders.
I would. But do you need leaders? You know what Nas says? Fuck black leaders. Whites ain't got nobody leading them.
I
I don't think that's true.
And I feel like that.
Well, that's it.
And that's how those movements collapse, John. Oh, the leader's gone. Let's all shut up and go do something else. Oh, this leader's gone. Like, because I even read that somewhere else before. Like, you can't put like your whole strength into a person as a leader. That community needs to be the change, not the figurehead. Because what happens when they took out MLK? That it went down. What happened when Malcolm?
That's also in every dynasty, though. Like, you can't say that.
That's then, bro. Imagine now. That's real though, because imagine now is the community, because now we have technology. Like when they went like to the Capitol with all those people, that in reality that wasn't that many people. That was those are just like local people and people that could afford to be there. Imagine like now with technology, if even like one person, not even one person, but just like a snowball effect of people, like on social media can be like. That's a lot of people. A lot of people are on their phones, and it's way easier to reach people now. So I feel like whatever's going on, they have to try extra hard now, and like they have to censor it on social media for that reason.
But when it
You
comes
know?
to politics, you know what's crazy? It's easier for politicians to like push you aside than it is to somebody getting canceled for saying something stupid or something. Politicians, it's crazy the fact that like politicians do whatever the fuck they want, and yet, storm the whatever the fuck. But if you say something wrong at a concert, your ass is like silenced.
Bro, that's real. And
It's way
Well,
different.
And also too, like I feel like pop culture people could have really even more effect on the masses than a politician can. Really, like through motivation.
yeah,
I wanted to go back to that point though about
Obama.
yeah, and I wanted to do my Obama voice too.
Let's hear it.
Well, John, the best I can do is give you an insurance plan written by a Republican named Mitt. He's relatable. You'll be able to afford your health care.
It's okay. it's
Because you know Mitt Romney, you know who that is, right?
yeah.
He was running for president from like Utah. He wrote that.
Obamacare.
Yeah, he wrote that bill or the program.
Romney wrote Obamacare.
Yeah,
Look it up.
that's the 100%.
Look it up,
true.
little Dave.
That's so true.
Get out of here.
It's true, bro.
Hey, did
John,
you
John.
see when Snoop Dogg was doing? It was, I believe it was Obama versus Mitt, right? And he was like, the motherfucker's name's Mitt.
Never trust a black man named Chip. You know that, right?
But
He did. It says here on NPR, Mitt Romney finally takes credit for Obamacare.
Wait, he
Boom, 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 boom.
confirmed.
hey, can you have that face
Listen,
here?
what you guys don't know is that I'm up on this. I'm up on this.
No, keep it back where it was.
And and we talked about identity politics earlier too, and I feel like that it got like more racist around that time because the first time when Obama was running for governor in Illinois, he lost to another black dude that was perceived to be blacker than him. Oh, you know what I'm saying by perceived to be blacker?
But I don't.
But he learned from that to go forward with these identity politics.
But I don't think I can confidently say you don't know how Obama was acting during that time. You and I have only seen one type of Obama.
What do you mean?
You're saying what you're implying is that he started acting more black after he lost that election.
To somebody who was perceived blacker than him, yes.
And what I'm saying is you never watched him before that.
Well, I know that he lost that election,
But you don't.
and that it was reported of that being a reason why.
I mean, like, being reported by what, like, you even
I mean,
say
I don't have-
Flagler Pierre Tristram is like very biased and stuff. It's like, so a newspaper said that.
Well, I
like,
don't know. I read that like a few years ago.
I would just need for you to like maybe watch one of his interviews or something prior or before that, and then like, okay, after that, if he's smoking Newports, playing basketball at the White House, okay, I get it, because that's what he was doing.
Yeah. But let me tell you this too. This is coming off of George Bush. So like now let's put somebody in here who's playing basketball, smoking Newports, and pass the same fucking Republican bullshit ass policies that's gonna fuck you over. But hey, it's a black dude, so we all love him. Like really, like I feel like they were able to pull shit off using identity politics. You can't say nothing about him. This first black president. Look, he's smoking Newports.
But-
he plays back. He got Jordans on, bro.
But a lot of people were doing that, and he did not have Jordans on. You just made that last part up.
I seen him on Complex talking to the Spanish dude that does all the bigger interviews, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh well, I didn't want to wear my Jordans because I didn't want to look like an old poser, so I just wore my trusty loafers."
But
See, that's a hard fact to swallow, though, bro.
But what? So hold on. So what is the topic on this? Like, do you say? Are you trying to say that he wasn't black enough or some shit? Is that
No, I'm saying that
He's saying-
he lost the governor race before that to someone who was perceived to be
Perceived to
blacker
be.
than him. Because he's like
not
light skinned. He's like from Hawaii. And he lost to like somebody like from Chicago.
Yeah.
That's like
from
like he's more hood. I don't like saying more black because that implies
See,
like street
I'm
is
glad
black.
you said that because right now anybody that is African American, black, whatever you want to call it, that's listening to this right now, do not let blackness is not poverty. So just because a man maybe not have been in the same situation that you have been and whatever, it does not mean he's not black or he doesn't
Right.
represent black or whatever. So that's one thing that us as a black people need to realize and understand. Like,
just because he's from the suburbs doesn't mean he's not black.
it's many of us.
But in that campaign, that's the guy he was running against was throwing shots at him like that.
No, I get that. And they're gonna do that. What I'm trying to say though is like, well, let me get back to the original point of what we were saying. He was saying that Obama didn't do anything for black people. And I'm saying like it doesn't have to be tangible. Like you don't have to write a certain bill in there. Just like he said, you're a symbol. That's just like, let's say Jordan didn't donate anything. Michael Jordan still did stuff for the black community just by becoming the best basketball player ever. Just being great is doing something for people. So you don't physically he doesn't have to put $10 in my pocket to do something for me. He could just motivate me. And that's what I feel like is really the ultimate thing that you could do for a community of impoverished people. You can give them hope. You can show them the way. You can show them that there's other ways to do things other than just...
Yeah, but that's why I said how'd that work out? Because we
And
just
see-
had,
and-
listen, we just had
right.
a conversation the other day when I was talking about how like Haitian people, and you were saying your Haitian boys are talking about how they make more money than white people.
Right. Well, pause real quick. Not that they make more money than white people, but what I'm saying is I want to go over stuff as you say it. You said, how's that going for you? And that's what I'm saying. It's like you make it seem like black people as a whole are like doing bad or something like that.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Well, how do you think it's going for us?
That motivation, how have you used that motivation to excel?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's like, how's that going for you? Like you answer that. How do you think it's going for black people?
I don't know. How would I know?
Well, I think it's going well. So then, I mean, if you're saying, I don't feel like Obama did anything for black people, then you must feel like it's not going well.
No, I was just pointing out that there was no real direct policies that benefited black people as a whole.
I think he's saying that while he does agree that Obama being the first black president sets a great precedent for black people and really like it lets them believe and hope that there can definitely be more black presidents in the future. But what did he do in power as president other than, like I guess, motivate them.
What can presidents really do?
See, well, I would say that he just put through more Republican-esque policies, but with a different face on it that's not easily criticized.
They're gonna do that every time though, so I'm not even really counting that against
And
them.
that's how like they got Trump after that, because they got crazy Bush over here, and then the pendulum's that way, then it goes to the complete opposite, then it goes to the complete opposite again.
I'm glad you said Trump after that, because why was it so extreme? Like after Obama became president, why did it was so extreme to now you have a Trump in the White House? Like, why was that? Like,
Well,
how and why did it go to that extreme? It's like, okay, you got this guy. He happens to be a brown man, whatever the hell you want to call it. But then it gets to the extreme, to the point where like you have a Trump, which is like complete opposites. They are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I don't like Trump. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying besides the business and all that shit, but like the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think a lot of poor people felt disenfranchised in that they wanted to go against that system. You know, the swamp is what they would say. And Trump was like a character that's not in that system. And I think people perceived Obama to definitely be a cog in that swamp system. And plus he was like you said, he's the opposite.
I think that's like a fake.
He's
bad
like
guy.
the opposite.
That's like the
But
monster under the bed.
You went from a politician to a business guy. Like, it's never been that drastic of a move ever, and I feel like it has a lot more to do with policies.
Well, another part of why he got elected too is because I don't know if you remember, but at first Hillary Clinton was kind of plugging for Trump to kind of win the Republican nomination because she thought it would be so easy to crush him. So she was actually trying to plug and pulling the strings to get him to be the Republican nominee because she thought that.
Oh damn! I didn't know that.
Yeah, they call it the Pied Piper.
She thought it was gonna be like.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm gonna do what I got to do to get him to the top of that pile, but he ain't shit. So I'll easily, but she's so disliked that he ended up winning anyway, and people like loved him way more than her. That's how that went down. That's how he got kind of to the forefront, because he was always like a Democrat before he ran Republican. He just ran Republican, and that's why they like to differentiate the Republicans now between MAGA Republicans and classic Republicans, because he came in there with his business skills and used leverage and played all those congressmen and used his leverage however he worked it to become at the top of the party. And he had beef with Mitch McConnell, who's like the head of the Senate, has been there forever. Like, he don't like Trump. And Trump's not really a Republican. But he got him in a position where they got to have him there. He had the power there.
Yeah,
So then they had to fuck with him.
It's politics. It's like not everybody agrees with everything. But my question is, I want to say this to anybody that's watching, like, for female listeners, I want to know why a female president should happen. Like, I need to know this from female listeners that's listening. Why would you think a female president needs to be in office? Because, I got my own views and whatever, but I want to hear
If I
from
could,
different women.
Well, do you think it's to set precedent? To make women think that they can do it?
that's what I was just about to say.
Or
Like,
is it just another maneuver in identity politics to try to put somebody who's marginalized
Listen,
in
all
a
I'm
position of
saying
power?
is, I just want to hear what they have to
Yeah, that's
say.
what I'm asking.
Because I'm curious. Because honestly, it's a lot to take off of that. But like,
one thing I would think about is like, so I feel like there are some people who really care about it. Like, say, Tulsi Gabbard, she's a woman and she was running for president. Like, even like, I'm not saying that this really holds crazy weight, but like Joe Rogan brought up valid points on how she could be. She was a veteran, what I mean? She's still helping people out today and stuff like that. She's conservative, but she also is pretty young and she's like a woman of color. So it's like, she is a good person. So I can see women rallying behind somebody like that, even though they're not. But it's like, yes, ultimately, I think, and the same thing I feel like with Obama. So I feel like with Obama, I can speak for myself. Like once I saw how close like a black person was to becoming president, it's almost like they just need that little push over the edge. You know what I mean? And it's like wow, this can like actually happen. You know, and I think if there was like a female, like okay, so who lost? What was the lady's name? Hillary Clinton. You know, I think she might have lost because she was already like in the White House and the whole thing with like Monica Lewinsky and stuff like that. But I think if it was Tulsi Gabbard, who I feel was sabotaged from the Democratic Party from the jump, she would have been a much better person who could possibly definitely beat Joe Biden.
John, I don't want to cut you off, but I mean, I don't know. Like when it comes to females in charge, I'll say this right now. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because it comes to like, okay, like if any females are listening to this, you know, females are more like
Emotionally driven? Is you trying to get that?
well, but like they are more in tuned with their feelings. You know what I'm saying? And like everybody has a part to play. Okay, this is how I feel. You know, men are more like logical, which is a fact. Men are more. I mean, women are more emotional.
Well, I would say in the spectrum, yeah, but I would say any woman that was like running for president would probably have their shit together and have their emotions in check and be more of like a high power alpha by the book.
They would be aware that oh, people are going to be looking at me and be seeing.
Yeah, for sure. But how
Well, I feel like women do make a lot of right logical decisions all the time.
they do?
Only in like anger and when they're salty on a personal level do I feel
Exactly.
like. But I don't know if they're gonna take like Putin shutting down their deal like as a.
Oh yeah, that's personal.
Is it?
That's personal.
I just feel like a high power woman like that wouldn't
Let me ask you this.
wouldn't be all crazy like that. Well, I don't know. I want to say that.
Boy,
That one astronaut
tell me
lady drove
somebody
like
that-
2 days with a diaper on to fight her boyfriend. You remember that?
Well, let me tell me somebody that you know that is like that's a female that is like all the way around just more like off of a logical point. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to diss any woman. Okay, that's why women are special because they have that
I would say quite a few of them.
okay.
Now, the ones that I'm thinking of might not necessarily operate at 100% in personal matters, but in matters of business,
Yeah.
totally in line.
I know for sure.
So, I mean, that's the job.
But I'm saying logical off of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
One thing that I
Well,
that 100% logical.
I know nobody's 100%
yeah,
logical, though.
that's rough. I feel like
I mean, because you
I
can't
feel
say
like, you're
du-
almost making it seem like men are 100%
yeah, because
logical. or something
dudes
like
do
that.
crazy shit all the time for like feelings or
They
like,
do for love.
Bush sent us to war because his dad got killed.
and there's still billions of gallons of oil.
Exactly. That's logical. That's logical. Well, that situation. But I'm just saying, in the most part, like, for you.
People
or-
would say this is misogynistic.
You think so?
Misogyny alert.
Your viewpoints right now are kind of a little. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just describing them as
That's logical? I don't know. Listen,
men
I'm
make,
not
I don't know.
men
I
make,
like
men make
that.
emotional decisions.
I'm not.
I don't want to call that
Well, I've never
misogynistic.
have.
I would say that in
You
his,
said you've never
I'm
made
just-
an emotional decision.
Yeah, I mean, I have before, but for the most part, my logic sticks over that. Like, I'm speaking on, like, I never said, like, oh, women, this and that. I never said that. I'm just asking you questions. I never said, like,
no,
fucking.
John don't do that to you though, man. Like whenever I say something, he'll be like,
Ask
well,
question.
well, you said
No, but what he did.
slavery is a-okay, and I'm like, I didn't say that.
I always ask questions. I never.
Well, what I was saying from what he did say, and tell me if you said this or not.
Okay.
But you said, okay, we don't know if women can be president, and then you're
No,
asking the
I
question
never
is,
said we don't know. I just basically.
well, you're asking the question, can women be president? Then you also ask another
I
question.
asked, were women more logical than men, basically? And when it falls down to it, that's what I'm asking.
And I guess it's a case by case.
Yeah, I would say on the,
sure,
I
it
would say
is.
on the spectrum, no.
It is.
On the spectrum, no, but
And-
exceptionally, yes.
And I would also say, like, I get where you're coming from, but it's like, back to the original thing. Yes, I think women are gonna eventually vote for a woman president for this simple fact to show that a woman can be logical and handle it.
But what if she can't? And what are you really showing them?
I mean, but then that's just
But
what I'm saying. Like,
even part of their like,
you say, what if she can't? Like, all men presidents have done well. Like, what if Joe Biden can't? Okay, but we voted for him anyways.
Well, he can't, and we did vote for him.
Exactly. So what now? We just vote for someone else. That's what happened if a woman.
man,
got voted.
everything's different.
Let me ask you this, though. Women do have a wide hormonal range on a monthly basis.
For sure. I mean, they actually have children, bro. Like children come out of them. Like
Okay.
it's on a different level. Like there are way more.
Would she take time off of work if she was president? If she got
No,
pregnant?
I'm just saying.
I mean, we got to do
in an
now.
emotional aspect, like feeling wise, they are way superior than us. They feel more things than we'll ever feel.
I feel like
That-
women are definitely smarter, dude.
Hey, so we're at war, Russia, and then like Putin's like, "What's going on? Nothing." Okay, okay, all right. Well, I just think it's funny that I just think it's funny that you guys want to attack Ukraine while you know that,
Quiet drive home until you pull in the driveway.
or until you get on the game. Putin's on the game with his boys, about to play Call of Duty.
We have to talk.
I just feel like,
Why are you yelling at me?
you know, I just feel like people are naturally good at things that they're good at naturally. And it's like, kind of why, you know, fuck with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's naturally, women are great at.
Hold on a second. Real quick. I don't like how...
He wants a mic. Give us
I don't like how, like...
It's generational, bro. Like,
What's generational?
break it
like
down.
back then, all men were in power, so all men were raised and known. It was normal for men to be in power, so women wouldn't even think they would be in power back then. But now, women empowerment's all the way up. So it's like, of course they would think. Like I don't feel like a woman president even has to be elected for them to think that they can't be president. They probably think they can anyway, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they definitely think they can anyway.
I don't know. If
I heard that the original feminist movement was heavily funded by, like, corporations that wanted to get women into the workforce so they can collect more taxes off of them.
Back to the unemployment rate. How many? And I said that. Back to unemployment. How many unemployed people are stay-at-home moms?
Before then, how... Some.
So it's like, does that count as
But how many
unemployed?
were there before?
All.
I got to show you. I'm going to go work all day.
Yeah, of
Go
course.
ahead.
Show me then, girl.
Of course.
Shit, work 2 of them and I'll stay home.
And you know what? That's the crazy thing with the argument. Like, of course, there's a lot of women that want a guy that is above their level or at their level.
They want that in
Will they
picture.
date below their level?
No. Name
Or marry? Will they marry? They might smash. Will they marry? below
Name
their
me
level?
one. Please comment if you're a lady out there
And you married below your level?
that will marry below your level. Because I've seen girls. No, I'm not. Even
At
gonna
what
go-
age, though? I feel like,
I've seen.
I feel like if you like do that when you're younger and then you get like wrapped up and then like maybe you take off and they just kind of stay one spot.
Well, that's
Well, that's
different.
because they're
That's
staying
like-
staying at home. That's not fair.
That's love, whatever. But eventually, if you don't pan out, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You better call Tyrone.
But you
Or
know,
or your lawyer.
but you say like the girl wants the guy to be over. Like, I need a guy that makes this much bread. Take care of me, come rub my feet. Like, yo, CEO making 200 grand a year ain't come home and rubbing your fucking feet. They got other shit to do. Like, you can't have like all of those items checked in your box. Like, because that one personality that leads that person to be like that isn't necessarily the same personality that's going to do these other things that you think should be done too. Like, I'm gonna run a business all day and then come home and be Mr. Love, like who's like some R&B love guy.
Chris Brown? No.
No, not Chris Brown.
But see, that's what I mean. When I was talking about, see, you're living in reality.
Yeah,
You're living in this strange place called reality.
yeah, man.
To a lot of.
See, that's why I like to be more real. That's why I ain't like how when he was like, "Oh, you're being misogynistic," because it's like
No,
you're like proving a point.
I
Like,
wasn't really
I feel
saying
like a lot
he's
of
being. I'm saying that thought process is teetering on the line.
Well, it is,
I would
but-
agree, but
I'm gonna say this. I love women. I'm gonna get that out there. I'm gonna get that disclaimer out there.
Let's put this disclaimer out right now.
John Brown this year, not on camera.
Oh, they're gonna be after him.
Oh, that mysterious guy.
Oh yeah, tag him.
Anyway, you should have heard what he said before the show. No, but I feel like, putting labels on stuff like that, like it shuts down people's point of view. So then you don't even get to, like, maybe you have a logic behind why you're saying what you're saying it, and then as soon as you put a label on them, then it tries to discount from what they're saying, and I feel like the people's points get lost in the labeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, earlier when we were talking and you were like, "Oh, that's racist. That's racist. That's racist." And I was like, is it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, what I'm thinking. I'm asking a lot of questions. Like,
Well, one thing we were talking about is like, okay, is wanting, like, say you have a son, if you want him to marry a white girl, is that racist? And okay, you can have an opinion, but I know racist has like a negative connotation to it, but that is racist. Now, maybe you're like, hey, in this situation, I want to be racist. And some people kind of got to deal with that because there's a lot of black people who want their black kids to marry other black people.
yeah, and I think we were kind of
You know
in
what I
like in concurrence and
Yeah.
regarding that specific topic.
And so it's like, yes, if you're basing it on the race, that's why I said, okay, now, if you want him to marry a girl with blonde hair, natural blonde hair, okay, now you're not really on race too much. But, if you want if you want him to marry someone that still lives with their mom and dad, or their parents have a degree, or their parents make over 100,000 a year, it's just going to put them into that white category and stuff like that. But actually wanting him to date a girl based on the color of her skin, yes, that is racist. And that's the same thing with the misogynistic. I feel like it was almost like a shock value by saying that. And then people get like defensive when it's almost like, okay, we just need to kind of acknowledge what it is and even live in that. Because lately I've just been like, hey, if I'm misogynistic, then I'm misogynistic. But this is my point of view.
just because-
and I don't want to just run from it because someone might call me misogynistic.
Yeah,
it's like,
but-
okay, fuck it.
And
Whatever.
then what? And then what? So what? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
just because you think I'm that.
Exactly.
Like,
or even if I am that, fuck it.
you know how you feel about people. Like,
And one thing that's just what I wish more people would like. Let's say if you're like, bro, that's racist, and they're like, oh, it's like, fuck it, I guess it's racist then.
see, because
I'm not racist. It's like, but it's like maybe you like as a whole, but it's like if you can say something racist, you know what I mean? I don't want to say it's okay, but then to like acknowledge the fact that that's what it is, instead of just like not us, but everybody just be ducking and dodging and running and
but-
hiding behind bushes and stuff.
yeah, and I don't even like that because it's like, I feel like the definition of that tries to get changed to encompass other things. Like, when I think about like a racist person, I'm like going out of my way to fuck you over because I don't like you because you're black.
And that's one.
I'm not
form
going
of
to hire
racism.
you because you're black.
That's one form, but not wanting your kid to date anybody black, that's racism too.
I would agree, but
It's a preference.
it's
But
a preference. But why does it got to be racist though? You know what I mean? Because like I feel like a lot of Asian people they only fuck with Asian people.
But you say, why is it got to be racist? Like, that's just the category that it falls under. You know what I mean? It's like, why does blue have to go under colors? Because it's a color.
So when he was talking about if you don't hire someone because they're black, that is
A preference.
It's affecting the black person. But say you don't want your kid to.
No, because you're prejudging them because they're black.
Yeah, but that's actually like affecting them because they won't get the job, right? So that actually makes sense that that's racism because of their skin color, they're not getting the job,
Yeah, I'm
right?
not-
But how does it affect like a black girl if like a white dude dates the white girl instead of the black girl? Like,
No,
I don't understand how that like.
he's allowed to do that. But like, if you're a parent and you tell your kid you're not allowed to date black people, it's not that it's affecting them, but that's a racist
I mean,
act.
that's racist.
Yeah,
It's racist.
that's just what it is.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not that it doesn't have to affect the kid to be considered or affect the black family to be like, oh, you're whole. Even though if you're like a millionaire and your daughter likes this black kid, and now you're pretty much denying him access to your family's money because of the color of his skin. Yeah, that's racist, and it would help his family out eventually, and that is a natural order of things of how it would go if you weren't racially blocking them.
But is that wrong that they have a racial preference? To me, that doesn't necessarily make them racist.
That's what. Well, see,
Because-
now we're going on into like, is the racist part of it wrong? You know what I mean? But like, okay, is it wrong for them? Like, I don't think so. I think you telling them that they can't. Now, if you tell them, hey, I don't want you to, that's racist, but you're not really holding them back. You could date whoever you want to date. I would like for you to be with, like, you know what I mean? I've heard that before.
Let's talk about you. You want to have like a black baby mama and have a black kid? What does your mom want you to do?
My mom would like for the person to be black, but she doesn't care. I could date whoever I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so she has a preference.
Right.
So by definition, you could say she's being racist.
Right. Yes.
But is that bad?
That's what I'm telling you.
I believe.
I'm not saying.
I
it's,
believe that the forced diversity.
I think
and
good
inclusion
and bad is
bullshit,
kind
bro.
of like white and black. I think
Yeah.
there's a little bit of gray area.
I feel the same way because I don't believe that there should be forced diversity and inclusion
Well, I don't. Well, that's what I'm saying. But
and
Look,
ostracized if you choose not to participate in
see,
that.
forced diversity and inclusion. The dad would be forcing the diversity instead of just letting whatever happens happens.
All right, well, let's just talk about the elephant
The elephant.
in the room. Okay, so like that shit really doesn't matter unless it's a prominently white man or a prominently black man when it comes to the race shit. Because nobody cares about the skinny dude in the hood with the fat white chick.
They're happy for them.
Nobody cares about that. So what is it really about?
It's like Princess Harry or Prince Harry and Meghan Markle type shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's really about the status of a person. And that's why people get mad. Other than that, people don't give a fuck.
They don't. That's a good point, Size.
People do not give a fuck.
I mean, Greg Johnson. Yeah, but I'm not even saying I'm against it or whatever. Like, I don't give a shit. But what I am saying is that I don't like how people are portrayed bad because they don't want to participate in that. And it's not even applicable to everyone equally. Nobody's calling any black person racist because they want to have their son or whatever to have like a black thing and carry that black traditions and the black culture. Nobody's saying, hey, you're racist. Nobody's calling no Chinese person racist because they want their daughter to marry a Chinese dude. I just feel like that's like a double standard that's put on like white people a lot of time.
I'm so glad we talked about this because you said that our topics are done, but we do have one more topic. And I would like to say this to my boy, Free Brandon, this dude that I work with at my job. So there's this thing that people are talking about, and it's called the White Supremacy Act of 2023.
It's like a modifier to add more time.
So pretty much what's going on is there's a congresswoman out of Texas, a black congresswoman, and she wrote up this white supremacy act bill to make almost decrease free speech for just specifically white people, and that they're not allowed to say certain things, and which goes into this. Now the problem with that is, I honestly, I don't even want to say feel, I know for a fact they're still going to say it just in secret. I want them to say it in public so we can identify who these people are.
See, that's why Malcolm X preferred Republicans to Democrats, because he wants to know you're racist. You ain't hiding it. Don't come over here shaking my hand, saying you're my friend, talking shit behind my back. If you're this person, be this person. I'd rather fuck with you like that.
And then boom, that goes to another great point, because that speaks to what I was telling you before, where you're always speaking about, oh, why are black people with the Democrats? And you just said it, like, I'm not saying all Republicans are racist, but it's like, okay, just stay where you at. I get it. You don't really fuck with me, so don't try and fuck with me. Stop seeing us fuck with Democrats. Be like, why don't they fuck with us? Because y'all don't fuck with us. Like, I feel like, and I'm not saying that they're totally wrong here. This is going to be a little controversial. But whenever I heard any Republican, and you heard about the people like that were on the highways, like marching and stuff, they're like, I'm going to run them over. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, okay, that's cool. But then don't ask me to be your friend. Don't ask me to vote with you if you would have just ran me over without even like trying to hear what we got going on. You might ask them, oh, what are they even talking? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. They're just standing in the road. I got places to be. How come they're not at work?
Exactly. Take your ass to work.
Why can't we have money saved?
Maybe if you're at work, you wouldn't be having no time to be bitching about shit.
That's what they want you to do. Continue to have you guys just work. And that's what, it's so funny, because like, it's like, I feel like, and we've spoken about this kind of like behind closed doors too, but like, I think one thing that kind of pisses me off is how hard like poor white people like go for rich white people. And it's like, oh yeah, this is like, bro, I damn near got more money than you do. Not you, but I'm just saying, like, the average person is like, why are you acting like you hate poor people? You're poor. Even if you got $50,000, you're poor.
Yeah.
It's like, so what are you even talking about, bro? You talk about all these, oh, these people asking for money. It's like, bro, you're getting money.
This is me saying this?
No, I'm just talking about like what I hear the average Republican complaining about. But it's like, bro, you are poor. You know what I mean? It's like,
because everybody wants to think they're better than someone else.
Right.
That's why, like, like you want to say, like, the most, well, I'll say it's on street level, like the ignorant trailer park dude, he got to feel like he's better than somebody.
You got to.
So, over there across town, I mean, there's just something wrong with them people. They ain't right. Now pass me my bush, Deborah.
That's definitely how
Like, that's like everybody, that's like a thing. We went into a lot more in-depth conversation in our phone call and preparatory talk.
But this was good though.
We don't need to like rehash all of that.
Yeah, this was good though. We definitely got the points out. I'm glad we're in our new studio. I really like how this looks. I can't wait to watch this episode back too.
Well, and I can't wait to get this like actually like set up and like make it look. It looks like we're in like a garage. And
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, we're not.
No, we're actually in like a 5th bedroom. So this is actually like a bedroom that we turned into a studio. But let's talk about a couple things that we have before we get out of here. We got lapel mics, so food reviews coming. We actually just shot another one. And it's dope. We get to shoot them now whenever we want.
All the time. There's gonna be a lot of them coming out.
Yeah, so we got the lapel mics, so we got the food reviews coming. I definitely want to start putting out the Flagler cop videos of watching them and stuff like that. And then what is something that you want to have coming?
Well, I still want to do the call show.
It's funny because I saw someone doing a call show today, and they were like, "Hey, Brian, just calling in. Thanks for everything you do." I was
Yeah,
like,
I just want to have like because I've noticed that like when we put stuff out, people want to comment on it because people want to say what they think, and they want people to see them say what they think.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, like I'm gonna start setting up here in this room, like, and we keep saying this is coming, but we got like other lives too that we're like doing this around, and like I just got to move in.
I work about 60 hours a week.
I mean, I go out of town every once in a while for my job. So like these things are coming nice and slow, and like besides the call-in show, I wanted to I had a few other ideas.
Yeah, we did. Oh man, some good ideas, and I really, really want to do one today. But we plan on going to like bars in Flagler, and then like you know how you see some people on the street like ask like questions that like a fifth grader will know and stuff like that. And it's like, how many pyramids are there in Egypt? Which I think there is actually more than three.
Yeah, I think
But,
I think those are just the most famous ones.
Yeah, but just questions like that maybe. But I also kind of would like to ask some questions that like pertain to local. You know what I mean? Like, what is something that you think Palm Coast could need? Like, you know,
Yeah.
maybe a bus system. Or I just want to hear what the community.
That's
says.
what I want to have on my call-in show too, where people
Yeah.
can talk about stuff like that. And I have another idea that I want to do too.
The 30-minute interview.
But no, that's like there's two ones. I would like the thing that I find interesting or interesting people, but I don't even really want to speak on the other one yet.
Well,
But
this
just
is kind
know
of like a slight copyright.
right now.
I mean, it's being recorded right now and on live.
Yeah, I guess so. But
If someone did it afterwards.
still, because it's gonna be sweet, and Palm Coast has plenty of it, and it's the kind of thing that people want to see, talk about, and share, and recommend other people for that, because there's a lot of interesting people around here. So I don't want to say more about it though, because once I put the first one out, and then you try to do the same thing locally, they'll be like, you're clearly like
Right.
you're clearly copying.
All right, guys. Well, you know, of course, Little Dave, we appreciate all your production skills that you bring to our event.
And gaining each week.
Definitely. We appreciate our boy Ty for coming through, giving us his insight. It's funny because this is the second episode he's been on, but like he hasn't been seen yet. People are still waiting to like see him. You know what I mean? He's the ghost.
Yeah.
But appreciate everybody who checked this episode out. Please in the comments let us know if you agree with us, you think we're idiots, however you may feel.
Let us know. Yeah, we want to know.
Definitely. And for Ty, please, about the women, let us
Take
know.
it easy on them girls.
No, I was gonna say if they're emotional or not, please let us know.
Well, we're gonna find out.
All right, peace.
Yeah, see y'all.